Hi, I'm Joe Schlitzer with EandM. I'm one of our Siemens and Festo product specialists. In today's video, I'm going to go into TIA Portal and show you step by step how to configure an S7-1200 G2 PLC to communicate with the Festo VTUX valve manifold. Before I get into the demo, I wanted to share with you a few of my favorite features of the S7-1200 G2 PLC and this Festo VTUX valve terminal. So here we have a new S7-1200 G2 CPU. This particular model is an S7-1214C DC-DC-DC. As you can see, the form factor has changed slightly. Its footprint is narrower, it's a little bit taller, smaller than the size of my hand. One of the great new features is how we wire the new G2. All the terminals are push-in connectors, just push in your wires. If you need to pop out the terminal blocks, you could do it with a cam. There's these little cams on each side. You just push them down with your finger and the whole terminal block pops out. These can be expanded up to 10 signal modules, and this particular model has 2 slots for signal boards in the front. The G1 only had 1 slot. Talking about the signal boards, Siemens is going to release a fail-safe version of the signal boards. So if you need a few I/O points, safety I/O points, you can do that with the signal board now. No need to add a signal module to the right of the CPU. Siemens has increased the memory capacities of these CPUs, and also the cycle time on these are very, very fast. Because of the faster cycle times and increased processors in these CPUs, they now have more advanced motion capabilities. So if you have a machine that has a few servo motors, you don't need to go up to a 1500 anymore. You could do it with the S7-1200. So here we have a Festo VTUX valve terminal. As you can see, it's very compact. It's a very powerful valve terminal, very lightweight, made out of a polymer material. These are highly configurable. Configuring these on the Festo website is very simple and straightforward. You have lots of options when it comes to the I/O modules. This particular configuration, this is my PROFINET interface module. I have that connected to my S7-1200 G2. We have power coming in from the bottom, many different choices on how to connect that power. I only have one I/O module here. This is a I/O link master, and then a few valve slices. Lots of different choices for the valve slices. If your application needs vacuum, there's options for vacuum modules. Supply air comes in from the bottom, and then the working ports are on the bottom as well. This particular configuration, I have one of these valve slices going over to a linear actuator. I really like how simple and easy these are to assemble and how easy they are to work with. The simplicity makes it a very elegant product. All right, let's get started with our Siemens Works with Festo demo. I've created a new TI Portal project, and as you can see, there's nothing in it. So let's add in an S7-1200 G2. First thing we have to do is go to the project tree and add a new device. I'm going to go to controllers, somatic S7-1200 G2, CPU, unspecified S7-1200 G2. In order to configure S7-1200 G2 CPUs, you need to be using TI Portal V20 or higher. I'm going to click OK. Now that the unspecified S7-1200 G2 is added to my project, I'm going to click on Detect. I'm going to select my network adapter, and I'm going to do a search. Now that it finds the S7-1200 G2 that I've networked to my PC, I'm going to click on Detect. And it's going to pop up this security wizard. I don't need any security for this demo, so I'm going to disable everything. Now I have the S7-1200 G2 added to my project. The next thing I need to add is our Festo VTUX manifold. It's not going to be included in the hardware catalog, so I need to go to the Festo website and download its GSD file. So here I have the Festo website open. At the top of the page, I'm going to search for VTUX. In the search results, I'm going to click on VTUX. Then I'm going to click on the Downloads tab, and then on Software. In the list of software, I'm going to scroll down until I find the GSD files, and here I have found two of them. The one I want is the GSD for the CPX APA, and I'm going to click on the Download button. I'm going to go into my Downloads folder, and I need to extract the zip file. After it's been extracted, I'm going to go back into TIA Portal, and I'm going to go up to the Options menu, and I'm going to select Manage General Station Description Files. I'm going to browse to my Downloads folder. I'm going to open up the GSD folder, and I'm going to select the highest version, and I'm going to click on the Select Folder button. You can see here I've already gone ahead and installed this GSD file, but what you'd want to do is click on this checkbox and click on Install. That will install the GSD file. After it's finished the installation of the GSD file, what I like to do is go to the Online menu and click on Hardware Detection and PROFINET Devices from Network. Next, I'm going to click on my network adapter and do a search. Here's the Festo valve terminal that I want to connect to and insert in my project. I'm going to check this box. I'm going to click Add Device. Now that I have the Festo valve terminal in my project, I need to create the network connection between the valve terminal and my 1200 PLC. I'm going to click on the Not Assigned link, and I'm going to select the G2 PLC. Now what I need to do is assign a PROFINET device name to this VTUX valve manifold. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to select Assign Device Name. I'm going to click on the Update List button. And this is, I actually didn't select the correct network adapter, so I need to select the correct network adapter, click the Update button. It finds the valve terminal, and you can see that it has no device name assigned, so I need to select it and click on Assign Name. You can see now that it has a PROFINET device name. I'm going to click on Close. Now that the PROFINET device name has been assigned, I'm going to go into the device view. What is important here is in the device view, you have to make sure you have the correct modules inserted into the correct slots. So you could do this in a couple ways. You can physically look at the way you have your valve terminal configured, but you can also go online with the web server of the valve terminal and it'll show you its topology. So I open up a web browser. I'm going to type in the IP address of my valve terminal. And here I'm connected to the CPX AP web server of the VTUX valve terminal. I'm going to click on AP topology, and this gives me the modules that are in each slot. So in slot 1, I have the CPX APA PROFINET module. In slot 2, I have the CPX APA IO link master module. And then in the third module, I have the valve slices. So now if I go back into TIA Portal, I can see in slot 1, I have my CPX APA PROFINET module. And in slot 3, I have the valve slices. The only thing I'm missing is my IO link module. So I'm going to go to the hardware catalog. I'm going to go to IO link master modules, and I'm going to select my CPX APA IO link master module and put it into slot 2. Now, since this is an IO link module, this IO link module, I need to configure the data that I'm going to have on each port. I don't have any IO link sensors connected to my IO link master, so I'm going to keep these ports deactivated. I'm going to go back into my hardware catalog. I'm going to go into submodules, IO link generic devices, and I'm going to select port deactivated. I'm going to add this to each one of my ports. And that is it for my configuration. The next thing I want to do is I want to compile everything. I'm going to go up to the toolbar and hit compile. It is finished compiling. I have no errors and one warning, and the warning I'm not worried about. The next thing I want to do is download to the PLC. So I'm going to click on the download button. Now it's searching for the PLC. It finds it over the network, and I'm going to click on load. I want to make sure I start the modules, and I'm going to click on finish. Now that I've downloaded to the PLC, I want to go online with it. And you can see here I have a green checkbox and all green indicators. I go to my network view, and both devices have green checkboxes. That indicates that my configuration is good and doesn't have any errors. So now I want to test some valves on my valve terminal. If I go back into the device view, I can see the starting address for my valves is byte 2. So I'm going to go to a watch table. I'm going to add a new watch table. And I'm just going to add in some output tags starting at 2.0. I'm going to monitor, and you can see that all these are turned off. And if I look at my valve terminal, I can see that all the valves are turned off. I'm going to modify this one to true. And I'm going to modify it. I can see here that the monitored value is true. And if I look at my valve terminal, I can see that the first valve slice is turned on. And I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to modify it. Now it's turned off, and I've verified by looking at the valve terminal it's turning off. I've verified everything is working, and that is a quick and easy demonstration on how to configure a Festo valve manifold to communicate with the Siemens S7-1200 CPU.